Good morning. It is the 9th. Yes, it's the 9th. It is the 9th of April. I don't know how it got to be that late a date already. Jeez, time does fly. I just wanted to do a quick um, review or update on my fig cuttings. These are 7 weeks old, right around 7 weeks old. They're not 2 months old yet. And I'm very pleased with them. You can refer back to some of the videos I've made because I've kept you informed and apprised. And I've made a few update videos between then and now when I first planted these. And they're all doing really well. I want to pick. This is Mike Kincaid's Campaneri, and it's actually starting to make little figs. So I'll be plucking them off once they get larger. And but I wanted to look at some of the smaller cuttings. Some of these are just they're running away with growth. They're really growing well. I got figs on these things. I really do. This one, I lost this. Now, this is Mavrasica. And I had 3 planted here. And the fig gnats did a terrible job on this thing. And I had to remove that one. So I lost that. But these 2 are doing fine. And I know that they're very well rooted, I can tell. And they're going to do splendidly. Let's pick out another smaller one. Let's see. By the way, this is one that I talked about before, and you can see that little shoot now on that node down there. This is a 2-node. And look at the little figs formulating on that, huh? Love these little trees. These are my little babies. And I'm attached to them already. Let's look at this guy over here. Here's a smaller one. All right, let's take a look. Look at that. Okay. All right. Look at the roots on that. Beautiful, huh? Just beautiful root formation all the way around. So it doesn't have to be huge and have real long branches, to be successful. This one's doing really well. And this is Black Greek Marius. One of my favorite Mount Etna types, and it's doing marvelously. Look at that fig up there. I just realized that. Look at that fig. That's got to come off. Look at that. I had never noticed that before. Anyway, it's doing really, really well. And of course, some of these. Oh, I can go over that way. Here's another. Let's look for another small. We're just having fun here, so stick with me because I want to make a few points that I think are relevant and even important. Here's another. What's this? This is Mavrasica. Oh my goodness. I would never separate with these varieties. And you might be thinking, look at that, isn't that beautiful? Look how robust that is. That baby's gone someplace. Right in the ground. I love it. I love these little trees. Aren't they beautiful? I get excited. I'm sorry. You will forgive me. I just love growing figs. I just love everything about figs. Is there another small one? Let's go over here. Let's take another. Here's a little one. All right, let's take a look at it. I don't want to just show off the big ones. Let's see if I can get this come out of there. Oh, wow. Yeah. Never judge a book by its cover, gang. Okay. Look at that. Woo. Yeah, he's wow. This one's doing marvelously well. And another Mavrasica. Gosh, should I give this a look at? I just love this little fig. I love my figs. And look, there's a nice shoot coming out from down in the medium from the potting mix. And this was just a 1-node. Actually, it was a 2-node here, but it was chopped in half, so you can't kind of count that one. And here's another one that's doing nicely, very nicely, beautifully. This is Mike Kincaid's, another of his gifts. Thank you very much, Mike Kincaid. And this is Moro di Caneva. And I featured this. I featured opening the box and things. And look at that. It's making shoots already. This was very dormant. I only had this a couple weeks, and so it's really doing well already. And I'm waiting with eager anticipation for the side shoots that will eventually emerge coming out of the node. Okay, and we can let's take a look at this one here. Oh, it's a beautiful tree, isn't it? Gosh, look at that. Starting to make some figs already. And it's just a beautiful tree. Look at all the beautiful roots. This needs water. I made a little video just the other day called turning your fig trees into water machines, and I really mean it. It's something that's not talked about very much. Transpiration is the official name. And it's when it draws up water and disperses it through the leaves. That's what all plants do. But when you see it become a machine, and it just starts to siphon up that water and just, expel it through the leaves, it becomes something else. What is that old saying? There's an old saying that I remember. I mean, you've probably heard this, that the sum, no, that's not right. The whole is greater than the sum of all of its parts. Now, what does that mean? Okay. We might hear that once in a while. What it means is, here's a perfect example. Take a watch, a beautifully designed, expensive Swiss watch, and take it all apart and throw the parts in a big pile. They're just a bunch of parts that don't do anything. But if you put them all together, they become something else. Okay? They become what they're supposed to become, what they're designed, what man conceptualized that he wanted to create and did so. Okay? It becomes something else. The whole is greater than the sum of all of its parts. And that's the same even with fig trees and growing. All these little things. The roots, the leaves, the this, the stem, the shoots. We could talk about all of these things and everything that affects all of these things. But the bottom line is, once all of these things come together the way that you plan for them to come together, then it creates something else. It becomes majestically wonderful, mechanically beautiful. It becomes a fig tree. In this case, it becomes a fig tree. And it's become a water machine. It's functioning at its absolute optimum. It's at its very peak. It's crescendoed. And that's what you're looking for when you do these things. That's what I'm looking for. I do. I strive. You're never going to hit it. But I strive for perfection. I try. Let's take another look. We already looked at this one. Let's take a look at this one here. I just love these trees. Look at that one. Now that's my Sicilian dark. Look at that. Look at that beautiful tree. Would you? I'm sorry. I just love these little trees. Look at that. And there's a little fig. There's little figs forming down there. Can you see them? I mean, they're actually little figs forming down there. I see them. I'll have to lob them off later. But let me see if I can move this around without dropping it all over the place. There we go. This needs water too. These are getting close to. They need to. I gave these a little bit of liquid fertilizer a couple weeks ago, and again they're about 7 weeks old, and I stopped because I don't want them to grow anymore. They have to be transported to another location, and there's room considerations, space considerations, and plus I don't want them to be damaged during travel. I don't want them to be harmed in any way, and they're starting to become, I don't know, little fig monsters. Although I love my little monsters. So I'm not doing anything to encourage any more growth from this point. I just want to keep them growing slowly and let the roots mature a little more and get them into the ground in about a month. And when I accomplish that, I'll be so happy, because these little figs, some of them are going to be gifts and to friends and relatives, and others are going to go, they're my little babies and they're going in the ground, and I just love every single one of them. And even the people that I've selected to give them to, I know that they love their figs, and I've given them figs before, and their figs are successfully growing. These are some of my favorite varieties. Let's talk about something else. Now here's something. Here was a perfect, that was a one node. This Mavrasica here, I think. Yeah, that was just a one node, and it's, I already took that one out, but it's just doing magnificently. Just one node. I never worry about one nodes. I like planting one nodes. Look at this one. It's got all kinds of stuff. It's got growth coming from the potting soil down there. Can you see it? Let's see. See that branch coming up? Look at that. And it's just going to be low to center, which is the way I love my trees. To start them off, you got to start them off right. You can build the Empire State Building if you can, but if you don't put a proper foundation under it, it's just not going to stand for long. It's going to become the Leaning Tower of Pisa, okay, and fall or collapse eventually. Foundation, that's so important. And start off right. And we talked about lobbing off, how I lobbed off all of the terminal buds. I do things unusual. Okay, we all do things differently, and there's no perfectly right or perfectly or really wrong way to do things. Well, let me rephrase that. That's not true. There are wrong ways, but there's no perfection that I know of. Everybody that succeeds, hey, they succeed. And so the proof is in the pudding, the fig pudding, like I like to say. So if they succeed, it's they did it right. Okay, is there a better way? Sure, I'm sure we always try to strive for perfection or strive for better. Okay, realizing we'll never be perfect, but you do the best that you can do, and you try to improve along the way. That's the bottom line. I wanted to talk about this one. Okay, this is a Ron DeBardo. In my other video, the last video, I think I said, do you recognize, and some people did recognize it. Do you recognize the leaf shape? I didn't say what it was. This is Ron DeBardo. Now, you see that there's two cuttings there that didn't sprout after 7 weeks. Isn't that peculiar? And you might think, well, they're dead, so get rid of them. But they're not dead. Can you see that? Can you see the color? I scraped this one, look. And it's the same for that one. I can see it. You see that right there? Let me see if I can. Right there. See that green? I scraped that last night. I wanted to look at it. And it's just, I've known that it was perfect all along. It just hasn't sent out any sprouts. But it's perfectly green. And there's no way that that could be perfectly green after 7 weeks unless there's roots under it. It just, because of some unknown peculiarity, it just hasn't sent out shoots. But it will. But does it matter? No, because I have 3 in there, and the other one's the same way. They're all going to send up shoots. So I don't need them all. I just need one. Maybe I'll be able to break off another, maybe, depending once I get it out of the pot and take a look at the root formation. If it looks like I can do it with a knife or something and get it apart and give another one away, I will. But I already really intended to have one originally, and sometimes it's okay to be redundant, because if you have a pot, why not stick a few more in there? And here I failed. I failed here. The fungus gnats got to it, and for whatever other reason it failed. But I have 2 that didn't. So that was the whole idea of that. These are also Mavricica. So I have unknown Mount Etna in here, Sicilian Dark. I have some other fig trees that are little known and I think highly underrated, like Alma. I love Alma, and I wish people would grow Alma. I wish more people would grow Alma. It's brought me so much joy and delight and satisfaction over the years. It's an incredible cultivar, really is. I've got Ronde Bordeaux, and there's a couple other varieties in here too. So I'm excited about getting these into the ground, and I thought I'd make this video just an update. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're enjoying spring, the arrival of spring. It's so exciting, and all of what we are going to be able to accomplish this summer. I have lots of goals and lots of projects and a great deal of ambition because I'm just, I don't know, I'm just full of energy this season. More maybe than ever before. Can you believe that? After all of these years, I haven't lost even one tiny speck of enthusiasm about my favorite hobby in the world, growing figs. I just love figs. And I know you do too, or you wouldn't be watching this video, especially to the conclusion. You probably would have turned it off and went somewhere else. And that's okay. So with that, gang, fellow figsters, thank you for your visit. I always enjoy your visits. You know that. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your participation. I hope you enjoyed this video, this update. Good day.